Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Landess.
And I'm at Sardella. On 9 News tonight, members of a church in Aurora mourn for an evangelist murdered last night. Security is tight at Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines, where 2 U.S. servicemen were gunned down.
Also tonight, George Bush is the target at the first Republican presidential debate. And when Plum Creek closes, Denver loses another pro golf tournament. 9 News is next.
Celebrate, come celebrate. Put your within inside.
At Target, it's our birthday, and a special one at that. We're toasting 25. And to celebrate, we offer you men's and women's fleecewear separates, 2 for just $11.
Join the Target family. We're toasting 25.
I don't mind working hard, but I'll tell you how I feel. I'm working honest day, and I want an honest deal.
We start work early at Safeway, so you can get hot, fresh-baked breads, pastries, and special cakes whenever you shop at a fair and honest price.
I work an honest day, and I want an honest deal.
Safeway, where you get an honest deal every day.
Noon till midnight. They're happy hours at Douglas Toyota. Happy hour discounts and 2-for-1 options. Through midnight Thursday, buy the option on the left and we'll give you the option on the right free. Over 400 new Toyotas at happy hour discounts, including Corollas, Camrys, MR2s, pickups, and more. 2-for-1 options, happy hour discounts, noon till midnight through Thursday. It's happy hours at Douglas Toyota, 1 mile west of Valley on 104th. We'll make you happy.
9 wants to know about excuses people give, Thursday at 10. 9 News is closed caption for the hearing impaired.
From KUSA in Denver, this is 9 News, #1 in Colorado.
Good evening. Aurora police still have no idea why evangelist Melvin Smith of St. Louis was murdered outside a Holiday Inn in Aurora last night. He was leaving the hotel to speak at the Now Faith Christian Church in Denver. Maria Rodriguez reports members went to a service tonight to mourn his death.
We all can get to heaven. What a day of rejoicing that we
Melvin Smith was to have been the featured speaker at this church tonight. He'd come to Denver to lecture at a Christian Fellowship conference here, but he couldn't make it. His ministry had taken him across 4 continents, but it was cut short in the parking lot of the Holiday Inn at I-70 and Chambers last night. Police still have no suspects or motive in the killing. Church members here mourn for Smith and his family, a wife and 2 children, but they say his work will go on.
He had a message, and he was going to deliver it to the men at our church, and it was going to spread like wildfire. I know that the enemy wanted to stop that, but he's alive because I believe it's going to go on.
And I just praise God that I was able to catch his vision, you know, before all this tragedy happened.
Melvin was an intricate part of the body of Christ, not only to Denver, but internationally and national, and he's going to be very much missed.
He's gone to be with his father now, and that's something to be joyful in that. But we will still miss him.
The conference Smith was to have lectured at was scheduled to last through Sunday, but the church's pastor has canceled it. A memorial service will be held for Smith on Saturday instead. Maria Rodriguez, 9 News.
American servicemen at Clark Air Base in Manila have been ordered to stay on base. Earlier today, 4 people were gunned down outside the base. 2 American servicemen, a retired serviceman, and a Filipino. The shootings took place in 3 separate locations within 15 minutes of each other. Security at the base has been extremely tight ever since. No one has claimed responsibility. Communist rebels are suspected. The rebels train at a base nearby. They've never bothered Americans before, but they have threatened attacks if the U.S. increased its military support to the Philippine government. Well, this week, the U.S. gave the Aquino government an additional $750 million and provided more arms to the Filipino military. A South Korean diplomat was released by his Shiite Muslim captors in Lebanon today. Someone, we don't know who, paid more than $1 million ransom for his release. 33-year-old Chae Sung had been a captive for the past 21 months.
Friends of CSU Professor Tom Sutherland have put out a poster to make sure he's not forgotten. He's been a hostage in Lebanon for more than 2 years. In addition to Sutherland's picture, the poster has a cedar tree, the symbol of Lebanon, draped with a yellow ribbon, a symbol of hope for the hostages. Copies will be sold, with the money going to help the victims of the civil war in Lebanon. President Reagan is expected to announce his new choice for the Supreme Court tomorrow, and the leading candidate seems to be federal appeals judge Anthony Kennedy of Sacramento, California. He is 51, a conservative, of course. One of his best-known decisions is a ruling in Washington state that female workers are not automatically entitled to be paid based on the comparable worth of their positions. That will cause some concern about Kennedy among women's groups.
No one knows whether or not it's going to happen, but President Reagan is ready to roll out the welcome mat for Mikhail Gorbachev, and once again, the U.S. is talking summit. Today, Soviet Foreign Minister Edward Shevardnadze stopped off in Prague on his way to Washington. On Friday, he will meet with Secretary of State Schultz and President Reagan. He is carrying with him a letter from Gorbachev. It reportedly suggests a summit for the signing of a new intermediate-range missile treaty, and it doesn't set any preconditions for a compromise on the president's Star Wars program.
And still ahead tonight, the IUD is put back on the birth control market by a company in New Jersey.
One of Denver's largest realtors buys out another big realty company.
The mountains could get some of that white stuff.
The Luggets play their 6th preseason game and make it look easy tonight up at CSU as they cruise by the San Antonio Spurs. Big game for Otis Smith. We'll tell you about that when we return.
Suzuki Samurai is a fun, hard-working 4x4, like the other ones, and it's rugged, like the other ones. In fact, it has everything you've been looking for in a 4x4, like the other ones, but less. Thousands less. $3,500 less than a Bronco 2 or a four-wheel drive Blazer. And at your local Colorado dealer, you can get a Samurai starting at $79.95. But hurry, because unlike the other ones, they move pretty quick. At Suzuki Boulder, Omira Suzuki, Tynan Suzuki, Bill Crowd Suzuki, and Leo Payne Suzuki.
The human back. Its underlying muscle structure creates a surface of complex curves and contours. And to conform, a sleeping surface has to adapt to that unique design. No other bed can do that as well as a Big Sur waterbed. Right now, the bookcase Shiloh is $117.99. Or the Nassau with carved headboard is $187.99. Give your back to Big Sur Waterbeds, America's largest. West Colfax next to Casa Bonita, East Colfax at Peoria and Boulder.
May D&F makes carpet and upholstery cleaning easier than ever before with the amazing new Power Steamer by Bissell. The Power Steamer lets you deep clean your carpets and upholstery rent-free anytime you like. The Power Steamer shoots warm cleaning solution, while powerful suction pulls the liquid and dirt back out. Gets carpeting deep down clean, yet fast pickup action won't soak carpet or upholstery. Don't rent, own your own Bissell Power Steamer and get the deep cleaning results you'd expect from a professional. Take home your Power Steamer today. Just $179.99 now at May D&F.
Empire, #1 in customer loyalty for the last 10 years. Ralph Shaw, Denver's #1 best-selling car. New and more exciting than ever. Bill Crouch, new styling. Classic, new performance. Metro, the all-new Honda for 1988. Frontier, Denver's best, just got better.
Vice President Bush found himself the target of attack tonight in the first televised debate of the Republican presidential candidates. 6 candidates took the stage in Houston. At first, the atmosphere was friendly. They talked about the economy and arms control, but then former Delaware Governor Pete DuPont turned a question of party ideology, into an attack on Bush, and Bush counterattacked.
The question is, in a Bush presidency, where would he lead America? So far, we haven't seen any vision, any principles, any policies.
It's fine when you're outside, carping, criticizing a president, and it's different. I found it is very different when you're in there having to make the tough calls.
Former Secretary of State Alexander Haig also took some shots at Bush. All of the candidates agreed on 3 things. They oppose abortion, they oppose raising taxes to reduce the deficit, and they all think President Reagan is a great president.
Coal miners on the western slope are afraid that coal sales might dry up in Denver. And so Governor Roy Romer donned some coveralls, a hard hat, and a smile, and he headed underground. The governor and his staff were touring the Empire coal mine south of Craig. It produces coal for public service company power plants here in Denver. A study starts next week to determine if coal burning by PSC contributes to Denver's brown cloud. If it's found that it does, natural gas might be used instead. The governor said he wasn't jumping to any conclusions, and they shouldn't either. He also said, whatever the finding, he will work with the miners any way he can. There are some 2,000 members of the United Airlines Machinists Union right here in the Denver area, and they have just a little over 2 weeks before deciding if they're going to go on strike. Members of the Machinists Union have been without a contract since last October. Their representatives have been negotiating with United Airlines off and on for the past year, but haven't been able to come up with an agreement on terms. They are scheduled to meet in Chicago tomorrow night, then meet with United officials in Washington later in the week. If they fail to reach a settlement, a strike vote can be taken, and if it's passed by the union membership, 20,000 United Machinists can strike at 10 p.m. November 15th.
Two of the area's largest realtors are getting together. Crown Realty has been bought out by Van Skok. The deal creates Denver's first mega broker. The two together have 725 full-time agents. They list more than 3,000 homes for sale at any given time. Last year, they sold homes worth $473 million, 50% more than any competitor. Together, they have 37 offices, although some of them will probably close. But all of the agents will stay on the job.
We see an expansion, a continued expansion of Van Skok residential real estate. With that continued expansion, we are going to continue to require the services of the people that we employ today.
For Denver's smaller real estate brokers, the merger could mean trouble. Most of them will have to specialize in a particular neighborhood or serve a specialized client in order to stay in business. The stock market had another day of heavy trading, but it didn't go anywhere. The Dow Jones average closed up 1/3 of a point on 280 million shares.
American women will soon have another choice in birth control. It's a familiar one, the intrauterine device known as the IUD. The copper IUD went off the market a couple of years ago because the makers were concerned about lawsuits. A number of lawsuits were filed against the makers of the Dalcon Shield. That was a non-copper IUD that had a high infection rate. About 1 million women used the IUD. Many of them drove to Canada to get one. Now the IUD is coming back to the U.S. Today, a small company from New Jersey announced it is going to market a new copper IUD called the T38DA. It lasts at least 4 years, and they say its effectiveness is as good as or better than the pill. Researchers say if its users are monogamous, there's almost no chance for infection. It'll be available early next year here in the United States.
Coming up, First Investors responds to charges that it misled job applicants. That's next.
These are the cars ranked #1 in America for quality. These are the #1 quality dealers who put these high-quality cars and trucks in your price range and provide a network of quality service and genuine parts. And best of all, for a limited time, these are the dealers with factory incentives that could save you thousands of dollars on certain models. These are Nissans, built for the human race, and available only at your Colorado neighborhood Nissan dealers.
Hi. Hi. We're almond growers, and these are our world-famous Blue Diamond Smokehouse almonds. Many people say they're the best-tasting snack on earth. And they're probably right. If you agree, please buy some today. If you disagree, please buy some tomorrow. That way we'll know. Right.
Blue Diamond Almonds, Smokehouse, and 7 other great tastes.
A can a week. That's all we ask.
Dear Honda, I looked at your Prelude, but I bought the new Chevy Beretta. Why? Well, to start with, I like Beretta's fresh new styling, the extra room inside, and I really like Chevy's 6-year, 60,000-mile protection. But the bottom line, at my Greater Metro Chevy dealers, my Beretta's almost $3,000 less than your Prelude. I love my Beretta, and I love the $3,000 savings.
See Fisher in Boulder, Luby in Lakewood, Craig in Wheat Ridge, and Mark in Denver.
Spectacular! Silo's Spectacular Hoover Sale. Get this deep cleaning Hoover convertible upright for just $59.99 with a free 5-year supply of bags now at Silo.
9 wants to know what's happened with the employees of the First Investors Corporation who did unauthorized recruiting at the 9 Career and Jobs Expo this month and may have misrepresented themselves about the jobs they had available. Paula Woodward is here to follow up on her reports of the past 2 nights. So what's been done?
7 employees of First Investors Corporation have been suspended now, pending an outcome of their investigation, the company's investigation. They've hired a local law firm to do that. We told you earlier when we found out about the allegations, we talked with the division manager of First Investors Corporation. His name is Russ Schaefer. We asked him 3 questions. Who gave you permission to be there?
Well, the representatives were just down there because they were interested in what was going on down there because
Schaefer knew all about his employees being at the expo, but says he knew nothing about allegations one of his employees posed as a children's hospital representative without their knowledge or consent. Which brings us to our second question. We have some people who said that Brandt was operating out of a booth, indicating he was with Children's Hospital. Do you have any knowledge of that?
No, I don't. No, and I don't believe that he would operate under Children's Hospital. No.
These 7 people said they were misled about jobs with First Investors Corporation from the expo. So our third question, did you ask people to come here today or any other day from the 9 Career and Jobs Expo under false pretenses?
Not at all. Not at all. We invited them in. What we did is after we looked at their resume, we called them and asked them if they were still interested in employment. We invited them in for an interview. If they were interested, fine, they came in. If they weren't, we didn't push them.
We were going nowhere with Russ Schaefer. We went nowhere with his boss, Regional Manager Chris Kinski. So we decided to call the home office in New York City, and that's when we got results. David Wright, Vice President of the Denver office, flew here from New York with the following instructions.
The people were suspended immediately upon your call, and we're going to pursue this to the ends of the earth to make sure that our company's fine reputation for the last 57 years is not damaged by just a few individuals acting inappropriately.
Since the 3 are licensed security salespeople, the 7 I mean, our information will be given to the National Association of Securities Dealers and will go on their records permanently.
What's Children's Hospital had to say about this? The allegation that one of the employees of First Investors misrepresented himself as an employee of Children's. I suppose they're a little upset.
They are upset. They say it was without their consent, without their knowledge, and they're just waiting to see the outcome of this investigation of those 7 people.
So are you satisfied now that First Investors is doing what it needs to do to get to the bottom of this and find out if anything wrong's been done?
I really am. They've been very fair and honest and pretty accurate about this. We will definitely be following up to find out what happened to these 7 people.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Stormy says we are in for more spring tomorrow, and he's up next.
Here's a short lesson for truck shoppers. This is a Nissan hardbody truck. These are your Colorado neighborhood Nissan dealers. The Nissan truck has more standard horsepower than Toyota, Mazda, Ford, and Chevy. And it's built by Nissan, the manufacturer rated #1 in quality. So you know it's got just what it takes to get you through a Colorado winter. And right now, special factory incentives could save you up to $2,200 on a new Nissan truck. Where? Only at one of these Colorado neighborhood Nissan dealers. Class dismissed.
Spread the word, we're here for you. All you need, now closer to.
Hey, do-it-yourselfers, come Saturday, the grand opening celebration at Woods is history. Don't miss the grand opening savings at all stores. Like Mecklenburg Duncan 35-year caulk, 99 cents after rebate. Colony Guardian latex wall paint on sale, $8.99 a gallon. And register to win a Whirlpool spa. But hurry, the grand opening celebration ends Saturday at Woods.
Don't do it yourself without us.
Woods.
Find the Lost Temple of Ramses II and win twice. Here's how. Be watching for clues to the Lost Temple of Ramses II contest every day during Jeopardy. And then be sure to stay tuned for 9 News 4:30. If you're called and you know the amount in the Quizline 9 jackpot and today's clue, you're a winner twice. Not only will you win the amount in the Quizline 9 jackpot, you'll also win a fabulous $5,000 shopping spree. Be a winner. Watch Jeopardy and 9 News 4:30.
At Porsche, key personnel meet on a regular basis to discuss alterations and refinements. At these times, many important contributions are made in the perfecting of our cars. We try to keep the meetings short.
Test drive a Porsche at Prestige Porsche in Lakewood or Pioneer Center's Porsche in Aurora.
After a day like today, it's hard to believe it's almost November. It was definitely shorts weather. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. The perfect day to catch up on a little yard work or just simply take a walk. No jackets necessary. Even some of the flowers are still in bloom. But the leaves on the ground bring us back to reality. It really is the middle of fall.
Everybody's getting ready for Halloween. I was helping one of my kids put together a little costume that she's going to have for that. What kind of weather are they going to have?
Well, you know, and I had a number of calls from people say Halloween, they had a bet, this man and wife, say on Halloween it's always bad. But Cliff Nicholson showed a slide on Monday, and I thought I'd like to show that again and bring out a few points about it. You'll notice in the past 10 years, actually, 85 and 82 it rained. And back in 86, which just last year, we had a little over an inch of snow. So really, out of the last 5 years, 3 of those years were bad. See, out of the last 5. But out of the last 10 years, we only had 4 years that were bad out of the last 10. So people remember the last few years, and they say, the weather's always bad on Halloween.
I see.
But their statistics prove that you forgot, okay?
Boy, those statistics are wonderful things, aren't they?
Let's look at our numbers and see how great it was. In Denver, the low temperature was 32 degrees. We reached a high of 48 degrees. Excuse me, 76 degrees. And currently in Denver, it is 48 degrees, and the skies are clear. The relative humidity is 33%. The barometric pressure is 30.0, and it's steady, and the wind is out of the southwest at 8 miles per hour. And looking at the radars around the nation, you'll notice we have shower activity going on over the northeast. Actually, we rubbed that one off, but we have showers going on over the northeast, but they're moving off now. Most of it is relatively light. A few light snow showers with rain presently being reported over western New York, but that's about it. Most of the shower activity is in the southwest and in the west over California. That's due to a low-pressure system off the coast. We talked about that low-pressure system yesterday. It's still off the coast, but a little minor perturbation now is moving in from it in the upper atmosphere. And you'll notice tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the evening, we're going to find it moving inland. And with it, it's going to bring some of that moisture into our state. So we could probably start getting some snow above 10,000 feet. I'm trying anyway. We're trying to get snow in there. Snow above 10,000 feet. Some rain showers in the western part of Colorado. Here's where we see the rain pattern, or the moisture pattern, extending from southern California, Arizona, into western Colorado. As I mentioned, that'll probably bring some snow showers above 10,000 feet, not only tomorrow night, but also Friday morning. And as far as the eastern part of the country is concerned, most of that precipitation pattern will be moving off. And the temperatures tomorrow will be moderating, mostly in the 50s in Chicago, 51 degrees in Chicago, 52 in Boston, New York, and also the nation's capital. Notice in the central part of the country, temperatures range from 64 degrees at Bismarck, North Dakota, to the 80s over Oklahoma City, and also down over Texas. In the southwest, also we'll have temperatures in the 80s, and warm air will extend all the way up as far north as Billings, Montana. Billings, Montana today was 72 degrees. They'll be 72 again tomorrow. We dominate our region, so we're in for another Indian summer weather. If you couldn't enjoy it today, you'll have another beauty tomorrow. Wyoming, 60s and 70s. Western Nebraska, in the 70s. Colorado, 50s and 60s in the high country, mostly 60s in the San Luis Valley. The western valleys in the 60s, pretty much tomorrow as they were today, and the eastern plains in the 70s and even a few 80s. It reached 80 degrees today at Fort Morgan, at Trinidad, at Lamar, and also Pueblo. They could see 80s again tomorrow, and as far as we're concerned, here's our forecast for Denver. Clear to partly cloudy skies tonight with a low temperature between 37 and 40 degrees. Tomorrow, another Indian summer day, mostly sunny, continued warm and dry with a high of 76. Friday, partly cloudy. There's a chance of a few isolated showers, mostly confined to the foothills. It'll be a bit cooler with a high of 70. And Halloween Saturday, partly cloudy with a high of 68. So, Halloween looks pretty good.
Good news for the little ghosts and goblins.
Good.
Thanks a lot. Ed?
All right, when we come back, carving a creative Halloween, Denver style. That's next.
Women shop coast to coast because they trust our products, they trust our ability, and they trust our people.
Save during our pre-holiday sale on this sound design combo. Portable AM/FM stereo with cassette and pocket radio, together only $39.99. Enjoy tasty brewing results with this Mr. Coffee coffee maker. Only $15.99 after $7 mail-in rebate.
America's Total Hardware Stores, coast to coast.
There's only one radio station that plays a real variety of soft rock favorites of yesterday and today, with less talk. It's KMJI Magic 100. Magic 100 plays a great mix of soft rock favorites. For example, tomorrow morning between 7 and 8, we'll be playing Take It Easy by the Eagles, a great hit from Whitney Houston's debut album, and Simon and Garfunkel's Sound of Silence. So before you go to bed tonight, set your radio to Magic 100 FM and wake up to soft rock favorites from yesterday and today on KMJI Magic 100.
If you're looking to buy a new full-size truck this year, there's a few things you might want to know. This 88 Chevy's the first all-new full-size truck of the decade. Has more standard horsepower than Ford, a roomier cab, more two-sided galvanized steel, better rust protection, and the strongest frame in the industry. Plus, if you need an automatic, Chevy's got them. Fact is, the Chevy's just a better truck.
See Jerry Roth in Lakewood, Century in Broomfield, Maxim in Inglewood, and Len Lyle in Aurora.
where the music comes alive.
You may or may not know that turning pumpkins into jack-o'-lanterns is an Irish tradition, and the century-old method of just kind of hacking away hasn't changed very much until now. Here's Jim Benneman's Positively Colorado.
All right, here we go. We're ready to carve. Who are my carvers?
Jeremy. Tara. Jessica.
Okay, good luck. I'm going to take mine into the kitchen to carve. I'll come back and you can tell me how I did. Okay. See you in a second.
Carving pumpkins just got easier and safer. Forget the steak knives. These kids have Carvo Lantern, a pumpkin carving kit. It's being marketed by the Bardeen family of Denver, and families around the country are snapping them up.
That was probably our primary motivation for going ahead and distributing it, is we felt if we never got anything else out of it, we got the satisfaction of knowing that lots of people could share a safer and a lot more fun way of carving Halloween pumpkins. Came out great, Jeremy.
Fun because everyone's an artist with Carvo Lantern. It comes with designs. Just poke in the outline, take the kit's miniature saws, and have at it.
Hey, Jim, how's it going?
Kia's father-in-law designed the miniature tools years ago, but only recently did the Bardeens realize their family tradition had sales potential. It's fast becoming a tradition for a lot of families.
Okay, let's see what they look like.
Okay, you guys, I'm done with mine. Hey, all right. How'd you guys do? Oh, boy, those are beautiful. You probably knew what you were trying to do, but I just don't know what mine looks like. What do you think?
Mike Nolan.
Jim Benneman, Positively Colorado.
There is a resemblance there.
Maybe I get no respect as Rodney Dangerfield would say. Every dog will have his day, and mine is coming, I tell you.
Sooner or later. Well, the rumors about Eric Dickerson coming here are exciting and intriguing. There's only one thing wrong with him.
I don't think it's going to happen, though. That's the only thing wrong with him. We'll tell you about Eric Dickerson, what Dan Reeves said about a possible trade, coming up in just a minute.
With State Farm, you get an agent who handles your car insurance with care. An agent who takes care to start you off with State Farm's good low price. And if you run into trouble, an agent is there to make sure you get fast, fair claim service, too. For a good price and good neighbor service. Take your car insurance to an agent who cares. If you're 50 or over, you can now save even more on car insurance with State Farm Mutual. For details, check with your local State Farm agent.
Greetings! You're just in time for spreading Chevrolet Mitsubishi's Halloween used car sale with devilishly low prices on all our used cars and trucks. Lots of late model vehicles, many with under 20,000 miles, and all at hot little prices. $8,000 cars, $6,000 trucks for much, much less. It's a wickedly wonderful sale, but it ends soon. Get to spreading Chevrolet Mitsubishi. And when your friends ask how you paid so little, just tell them the devil made you do it.
I don't mind working hard, but I'll tell you how I feel. I work an honest day, and I want an honest deal.
We start work early at Safeway, so you can get hot, fresh baked breads, pastries, and special cakes whenever you shop at a fair and honest price.
I work an honest day, and I want an honest deal.
Safeway, where you get an honest deal every day.
1, 2, 3. Good love. Now give me that good, good love. Good love. All I need is love. Good love. Devil with a blue that, blue that, blue that. Devil with a blue that song. Take it, baby. Now take it up, baby.
oldies all the time in FM stereo. That's Cool 105.
Not a good month for pro golf tournaments here.
No, when was it? Three weeks or 4 weeks ago, the LPGA went by the board here after a number of successful years, and it's too bad because they say that the tournament down there at Castle Rock at Plum Creek brought in about $200,000 for the economy for the weekend. I don't think it's going to stay around in this area. Canadian Bank is foreclosing on the Tournament Players Club at Plum Creek. As a result, Denver will lose its second major golf tournament in the last few weeks. Earlier, of course, the LPGA Columbia Savings Classic folded because of a lack of sponsor. Now, the men's senior event, the Champions of Golf, was first played at Plum Creek 6 years ago, was sponsored by the Denver Post. This past year, the senior PGA was the main sponsor. Bruce Crampton won this year's event. Now there is no other club to go to a major event, and this comment.
Well, naturally, I think everybody that has been involved with a tournament here is obviously disappointed. I felt that the strides we'd made since last year were significant, and problem is we did not have a title sponsor signed.
Now, the club will stay open, but apparently the tournament will be moved and will not stay in this area. Nuggets playing their sixth preseason game, this one against San Antonio up at CSU, and the Nuggets cruised to an easy 120-108 win. Watch Lever to Otis Smith, high feed. He had 19 points tonight, 12 in the opening quarter. The Nuggets led by 12. Doug Moe looks on there, fairly decent turnout up at Moby Gym. Long pass, again, Lever to Smith, who lays it in, and that made Doug Moe happy on that play. They had their running game going pretty good early on. Alex English from Lever. Alex had 22 points as he gets loose underneath and scores. Andre Moore, the Nuggets' top draft pick, as Danny Shea still hurt, and Mike Evans there look on at the game tonight. Andre Moore pops for the baseline. He had 11 points, but Otis Smith just had a great game, especially in the first half. We said he had 19 points. Nuggets led by 15 at halftime and 1 going away. Final score, and that's Smith there, 120-108. They're 4-2. They will play San Antonio at Missoula, Montana on Friday night. Well, in hockey this evening, the Colorado Rangers won 5-4. They stay unbeaten. It was 3-2 into 2, and that goal right there by Jeff Brubaker made it 4-2. Rangers looked like they would have an easy time as Todd Ellick scores to make it 5-2, but then the Saginaw Hawks came back 2 goals by Phillips. This one has a deflection in front as he scores to cut it to 5-4. Rangers prevail before 1,608 fans tonight. They are 6-0-1 and beat Saginaw 5-4. They play the Hawks again at the Coliseum Friday night. National Hockey League, the L.A. Kings beat the New York Rangers. Final in that one was 4-3. Buffalo and Hartford skated to a 2-2 tie. Montreal got a big game from Patrick Roy in net as they beat Edmonton 3-1, and it was Toronto beating the Islanders 5-2, and Detroit over Winnipeg 5-1. Well, for the third week in a row, the Broncos regulars will face an NFC Central Division team and are hoping for better success than they had against Green Bay before the strike in Minnesota this past Monday night. The Lions are struggling. They are 1-5 on the season. Coach Darryl Rogers and his players are under a lot of heat from the fans and owner William Clay Ford.